I said no 8 times, and that no almost cost me everything I have today. Let me tell you why. Welcome back to Everything Dough, where we rise bread and bank accounts. I'm Trudy, and today is not a baking day, unfortunately. Today, I'm going to pull back the curtain on something I don't really talk about enough. That's my story. It's why I built Life Made to Order Financial Phoenix and why it became so much more than a business. So let me take you back. I've never been a corporate girl. I've never had a corner office. I've never had a salary with benefits, never had any of that. What I did have was a string of jobs, a stack of hustle, and a boss I was always answering to. And I've tried a lot of things. One of my favorites was being a sober bartender. Yes, that's a real thing. And yes, I was good at it. I was always in motion, always doing something. But here's the truth. I was always building someone else's dream, not mine. I had energy, I had drive. I just didn't have any direction that belonged to me yet. And frankly, I didn't have a dream. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. And money, oh, money and I had a complicated relationship. Not because I was reckless. Okay, well, maybe a little, but because nobody in my world ever sat me down and taught me how it actually worked. Money, that is. So there was this low hum of shame surrounding money. Like I should already know, like not knowing was a personal failure. And when I got a diagnosis that stopped me cold, COPD, if you don't know what that is, it's a chronic lung disease, it's progressive. I knew exactly what it meant because I'd watched my dad die from it. So when the doctor gave me my diagnosis, the first thing I thought about wasn't my health. I thought, how am I going to pay for this? Because I'd seen that movie before and I did not want to star in it. And around that same time, this woman came into my life. I will keep her name out of this, but her initials are Nicole Caplet. Well, Aspenson now. She became a really good friend and she kept inviting me to something called a Money 101 workshop month after month after month for 8 months straight. And every single time I said, no, I'm not going. And she would always ask, can I ask you next month? And I said, of course. She was my friend. And I didn't say no because I didn't trust her. I literally did not trust the industry that she was in. But because walking into a room to talk about money literally felt like walking into a room to have all my failures read out loud. And I just didn't want to deal with it. The guilt, the shame, the I should already know this. I mean, it was loud. So on that eighth invite, I didn't go for me. I want to be clear about that. I went to support my friend, and that was it. I showed up that day just to be a good person in her corner. And what I learned in that room that day changed my life. And I'm not using that phrase lightly. I walked in carrying a big old thing of shame on my shoulders, and I scuffed that off and walked out carrying hope, big old bag of hope with me when I left that room. In that workshop, they introduced me to something called living benefits life insurance. And I'm going to be honest with you. My first thought was purely selfish. I thought, wait, oh my God, this could be my ticket out. This could be my way out because I had a COPD diagnosis. I had watched my dad drain everything he had because he had no financial protection when he got sick. And here was something that could protect me while I was still alive. Oh my gosh. So within 1 month of that workshop, I was covered. I had living benefits. And for the first time in my life since that diagnosis, I felt like I could breathe better than I was before, literally and financially. And that's when a shift happened. It started up in my head as this helps me. But the more I learned, the more I saw how many people were walking around exactly like I was, unprotected, unaware, one diagnosis away, one event away from poverty. And that's when it moved from my head straight into my heart. Now, I want to be real with you here because I think this part gets left out a lot of I built business stories. I did not walk out of that workshop and become an overnight success, not even close. I started with an apprenticeship plan. After a couple months of hanging around and thinking about it, I finally made up my mind. And I honestly, I knew nothing about financial services, absolutely nothing. I had my license because I had tried it before and hated it. I had, I shouldn't say had, I got to learn an entirely new industry, an entirely new language, new concepts, but I was also earning while I was learning all that stuff. And it was kind of humbling in a way that I wasn't prepared for. I'd always been the person who figured things out fast. My parents died when I was young and I just had no choice, but this was different. This required patience. I had to grow. So year one, year two, year three, I was learning the business. I was building my confidence. I was serving clients, making mistakes, making progress. It wasn't glamorous by far, but every single day I knew why I was doing it. I had seen what it looked like when someone had no financial protection, and I was not going to let the people I served end up there. So by year four, something clicked. And it wasn't some big dramatic moment. It was more like a quiet knowing. I'm not a good saver. I like spending money, I'll just say it. And I knew that the traditional save for retirement path was not going to be my path, not realistically, but I had learned something in this business that changed everything. And if you build an organization like a real agency, it feeds you. And more than that, it outlasts you. And that's the legacy play. That's retirement for people like me, not a savings account that I have to save in. I'm a spender. It's an organization that keeps running, keeps helping people, and keeps providing even when I'm gone. So I built Life Made to Order Financial Phoenix, my agency, something that is genuinely fully mine. And, I've been in this business for 12 and a half years now. And I need to tell you something that puts everything in perspective for me. Recently, I tried to get more life insurance. Guess what? I no longer qualify for the very insurance that I offer. I am uninsurable. The very product that changed my life when I got covered, I can't get anymore. So when I sit across from a client and talk about living benefits, I'm urging them, get this now while you can, because I know what it means to have it, and I know what it means when it's too late. And I've had two clients, two real people in my world file living benefits claims. I've never had a death claim yet. Oh, sorry, one, but it wasn't a life insurance claim. He had other accounts with us, but sitting with them through that process, helping them access money while they were still alive to use it, that is what moved this from my head to my heart. That's why I do this. That's why I built this. So if you're watching this and you're still playing small, still saying no to the conversation, still carrying that shame around money, still waiting until you feel more ready, I see you because I was you. For 8 months, I was you. And a little bit after that, if I'm being honest, even when I was doing this business, if any of this part of this story resonated with you, whether you're someone who wants to understand your financial protection better, or someone who's looking at what I built and thinking, hey, I might want something like that for myself, I want to talk to you. No pressure, no pitch, just a conversation. I want to hear your story. Because here's what I know after 12 and a half years. The conversation that you keep putting off might be the one that changes everything. That was me.